So Lindsay, while we're waiting on my manager to go ahead and get the vehicle appraised, you know, you were talking when you first got here, we were talking about masks and all these mandates that are happening with the COVID and how it's really changed the way we do business. And I got to thinking when I was walking around that there's actually been a lot of changes in the car business the last 5 to 10 years. Can I ask, when was the last time you bought a vehicle?
3 years ago.
Okay. And did you have to do a lot of negotiating to get a discount?
Some.
Well, the good news is you won't have to do any negotiation here. Real quick, while we're waiting on my manager to finish up with the appraisal, are you familiar with market-based pricing?
No.
Okay, market-based pricing is just simply a third-party software that goes ahead and searches the marketplace for all the different vehicles and compares the prices. It's the same third-party software that you're used to because it's pretty much now everywhere. Can I ask, when was the last time that you bought milk at the grocery store?
Like 2 days ago.
Okay, so that milk you bought, they priced it based on that particular store's supply and demand, their weekly goals, and then they also compared it against the rest of the competition so they were competitive. Amazon, airlines, hotels.com, they all use it. In fact, I bet you did a little shopping for cars before you came in here today. Am I wrong?
No, I did.
And would you have even stopped in if we were priced way higher than everyone else?
Probably not.
And that's just it, Lindsay. I mean, if we don't price those vehicles right, you or anyone else for that matter won't even come in and take a look at it, let alone take one home. So that's why we pre-discount all the vehicles that we've got out there. Now I see that he's back from the appraisal, so let me go ahead and get the figures, and I'll be right back and we'll go through it and deliver your car.
Okay.
All right, so I come back in. Okay, so Lindsay, great news. Here's what we've got. So we've got a pre-discounted price here of $49,445. We already discussed that we'd pre-discount all those vehicles. Now, the vehicle, they want to buy it, your vehicle, for $13,000. That's the fair market value for it, leaving us a difference here of $36,445. Now, we've got to collect the tax, the license, or we need to get a clear title. And get a clear title. So the only other thing I need you to do is just go ahead and okay this for me here, and then get your car all cleaned up. And I guess the last question is do you want to title it in your name, or are we going to title it in more than one name?
I'm not ready to sign though. I think the price is too high.
Okay. So when you say the price is too high, do you mean like we're too high here, or there's something going on here, or is what we're really talking about is to try to lower the whole balance, so in turn it'll be a more affordable type of payment?
I was looking more towards the price of the actual car. I saw it at another dealership for less.
Okay. Well, that's kind of surprising because typically with our market-based pricing, we're either priced lower or at least, if nothing else, very competitive against the competition. So I'm sure I'd like to know why this one's priced a little differently, and I'm sure you probably would too, right? So can I ask some questions so we can figure this out?
Yeah.
All right, good. So let's go ahead and compare here. So the one you were looking at the other dealership, what year was that?
It was a 2020.
Okay, so it was a 2020. And then, what was the make?
It was a Ford Explorer as well.
Okay, so it was the Ford. Of course, it was an Explorer. And what trim package did it have?
It was a Platinum.
Okay, so it was a Platinum as well. And what type of miles did it have on it?
That one I don't remember.
Okay, so miles we're not sure of. What type of equipment did it have? I mean, you know, obviously it had the Platinum package on it, but did it have the running boards like we've got on ours? Did it have the pinstripes and the sunroof?
It did have a sunroof, I remember that.
Okay, so no running boards. Pinstripe. And what color was it?
It was silver.
Okay. And when was that? When did you go look at it?
This was last week.
Okay, so last week. And just out of curiosity, why did you get it?
I wasn't ready to buy then.
Okay. And let me ask you, was the price given to you verbally or was it all in writing?
It was in writing.
Okay, good. And then finally, was it the sales manager, salesperson, sales manager, general manager had given you the pricing?
It was just the salesperson.
Okay. Well, and not just, but again, I just was curious if it was. I just wanted to make sure that was the case. Okay, well, I see why there's a little bit of a discrepancy here. So it looks like we've got a question here with possibly miles. I mean, who knows? I'm not sure if you got a chance to drive it or sit in it, but sometimes people will drive those vehicles and they'll put some miles on them. It could be a demonstrator. There is a little bit of difference here in the equipment. Ours has got the running boards on it and then the pinstripes on it. It was last week, so we're hoping they still got the vehicle. The reason you didn't is because you weren't ready. Let me ask you, what do you think would help move you forward and help you be ready?
Ultimately the price.
Okay, gotcha. So it's not so much a matter of if you're going to buy, it's really more of when you're going to buy, and when you're going to buy is when you're going to get a good price on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So again, going through the rest of the discrepancies here, we've got those here, and then as we go through here, again, you're just wanting to make sure you're getting, obviously, a good deal. So I can see why it's priced a little differently than their particular vehicle. I know, again, you just want to make sure you're getting as much off as you possibly can. You do like the vehicle, don't you?
Yep.
Well, we just put all this shopping behind you and get you out of here so you can start enjoying it. Did you want to go ahead and title it again in your name or with somebody else's name? Or two names?
I mean, I'd still like to knock a little bit off, whether it's off the price or more for my trade.
Okay. Well, on the trade-in, let me go ahead and show you how we arrived at the price for your trade-in, okay? So are you familiar with the Mannheim Auto Auction?
No.
Okay. So actually Mannheim Auto Auction, and maybe you've heard of Odessa Auto Auction. No? Okay. Those are the two main auctions that are used throughout the whole United States. They've got outlets all throughout the United States. So what our management team does is they go ahead and look and see what they could purchase a vehicle like yours from the auction. You'd probably do the same thing if you had access to that information, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing they look at is this. They look at the input into the auction website, the 17-digit VIN number, or also it's called vehicle identification number. You're familiar with that? It's in the door jamb on the side. So they put that on there, or they go ahead and put that in to make sure they've got the exact year, make, model, and then the trim package. Then the next thing they do is they put in the exact miles. And obviously, fluctuations of 1,000 miles can make a difference one way or the other, if it's over or under what the average miles are. And then finally, condition. Now, speaking of condition, on a scale 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what would you rank your vehicle?
8.
8? Okay, that's what we ranked it at too. Now, after we've entered all this information, or they've entered all this information, what it does is it produces some different vehicles that they could purchase at the auction. When they put this one in, about 15 to 20 different vehicles came out that they could purchase, and they could purchase those vehicles like yours with an 8 rating for actually $12,500 on average. So that's $500 actually less than we were offering for yours. So again, I get it that you want to make sure that you're getting as much as you possibly can. However, we're putting our best foot forward. As we discussed, we pre-discount all these vehicles. We do want your car. That's the reason we're willing to pay a little bit more than maybe what we could purchase one from the auction. So again, I know you guys like the vehicle, or you like the vehicle. Did you want another pop water or coffee, and we can get this thing finished up and get you out of here?
I don't know. I still think I want to think about it a little more.
Okay. So you probably want to think about it to make a good decision, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think a day or two would be long enough, or 3 or 4 days would be better?
A day or two.
Okay. Well, the truth is, whether you take a day or two, you take 3 or 4 days, or you take 3 or 4 months, you're still going to be faced with the same 3 questions. And the first question you're going to have to ask yourself is, do you like it's actually an SUV, we'll call it SUV or truck. Do you like the SUV? Correct?
Yeah.
You do like it?
Mm-hmm.
The second thing you're going to have to ask yourself is, am I getting a fair deal? And then the last thing you're going to ask yourself, am I and this dealership a place you'd want to do business with? So we can check this one off. Are we able to check this one off?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'd still like to get something off extra though.
And then over here, the dealership and I, are we good there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here, when you say a little bit extra, here, here's an idea. So I know you'd like to get an additional discount.
Mm-hmm.
However, we've pre-discounted these vehicles already. So it's difficult for us to give you something that we don't already have. So here's an idea. In our sales meeting last week, my manager said on average that we spend $212 in advertising just to get a guest in the showroom. Now, rather than us have to spend that money to put another guest in your seat to go ahead and look at the car that you've picked out, What if I was able somehow to get my manager to go ahead and advance us that $212 in advertising? If I could get him to advance us that $212 in advertising, do you see any other reason why you wouldn't take the car home now?
If you could do that, no.
Okay, let me go ahead and see. I don't have that approved. Again, we're trying to get something out of nothing. However, I'll do my best, okay? I'm going to go ahead and write this up. So Lindsay, will take delivery today if we can get an additional $212 off the price or trade or the credit basically for the advertising, right? Okay. So let me go ahead and have you okay this right here, and then I'll do my best to go ahead and see if I can get that approved. Okay, good. All right. So now, if you want to improve your sales skills, learn how to use psychology to close more car deals, and receive unbiased dealership vendor product and service reviews, make sure you subscribe and then turn on the bell so you never miss out on learning anything new.